In a world that roars like an endless storm, demanding voices, ceaseless chatter, the relentless push to shine brighter, louder, bolder, there you stand, an introvert in the shadows. You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache, the invisible weight of being too reserved, too thoughtful, lost in a sea of extroverted ideals, where silence is mistaken for weakness, the fear of fading into the background, the frustration of masking your true self to fit in, the spiritual exhaustion of a soul that craves depth over dazzle. It's a universal human wound, the introvert's hidden battle in a society that worships the spotlight, leaving you wondering if your gentle power is a curse, not a gift. But what if that very quietude is your hidden superpower? What if the proof lies not in conquering the noise, but in embracing the sacred hush within? Journey with me through Susan Cain's quiet and discover how introverts hold the keys to profound creativity, empathy, and leadership, secrets that could transform your inner world. Stay with me. The revelation begins now. Insight 1. The mirror of the extrovert ideal. Imagine a vast mirror hall where society reflects only the bold and boisterous, distorting the quiet souls who gaze upon it, making them feel like ghosts in their own reflection. Elena was drowning in noise. Each day in her flashy New York ad agency meant group brainstorms where her best ideas stayed trapped in her throat, mandatory happy hours, sipping drinks while her social battery drained, endless performative chatter, smiling while her creativity withered. Then came the breaking point. One exhausted night, she ignored emails and deadlines to do something radical. She simply painted, alone, in silence, for herself. What emerged wasn't just art, it was magic. When she reluctantly brought the canvas to work the next morning, something extraordinary happened. The office fell quiet. Colleagues stared. Her usually loud boss whispered, This is genius." In that moment, Elena understood the truth she'd been denying. Her brilliance didn't grow in crowded rooms. It flourished in solitude, and that was more than okay. It was her power. As Susan Cain writes, we live with a value system that I call the extrovert ideal, the omnipresent belief that the ideal self is gregarious, alpha, and comfortable in the spotlight. Feel that mirror cracking within you now, gently, like dawn light piercing fog. What if your reflection isn't flawed, but a deeper truth waiting to be seen? Ponder this. In your next social whirlwind, step back and observe what hidden strength emerges in the quiet. But what if sensitivity isn't a shield to hide behind, but a sword? Hold that thought. Insight 2. The Garden of Sensitivity. Envision a secret garden where delicate blooms thrive not in harsh sun, but in the soft veil of mist. Introverts, as these rare flowers, their sensitivity, a root system drawing wisdom from the depths. Charles Darwin wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He was the deepest thinker. While others debated and argued, he quietly observed, studied, and questioned. At his home in Down House, far from the noise of crowds and controversy, Darwin spent years examining tiny details, the beaks of finches, the shapes of fossils, the patterns in nature. While the world rushed around him, he moved slowly, piecing together a revolutionary idea: life evolves over time. His theory of natural selection didn't come from bold speeches or public debates. It came from patience, curiosity, and the courage to follow the evidence. Even when it challenged everything people believed, Darwin proved that you don't need a loud voice to change the world. Sometimes the most powerful ideas come from quiet minds, carefully listening to nature's whispers. Cain reveals introverts are more sensitive to nuances. They process information about their environments, both physical and emotional, unusually deeply. Let this garden unfurl in your heart. Your quiet attunement isn't overwhelm, it's a divine divine sensitivity, tuning you to the universe's subtle symphonies. Breathe it in. Feel the peace of being deeply alive. Apply this. Next time noise overwhelms, retreat to your inner garden. What nuance do you notice that others miss? Shh, listen closer. But can solitude truly fuel genius? Insight 3. The Sanctuary of Solitude. Like a hidden sanctuary atop a mist-shrouded mountain, solitude is the introvert's forge, where ideas are hammered into brilliance away from the valley's clamor. Rosa Parks was a soft-spoken seamstress in Montgomery, Alabama, but her quiet strength helped ignite a revolution. Unlike many protests that happen in crowds and chaos, Rosa's defiance began in the stillness of her own conscience. On December 1, 1955, after a long day of work, she boarded a segregated bus and took a seat in the colored section. But when the bus filled up, the driver demanded she give up her seat to a white passenger. In that moment, Rosa made a simple but powerful choice. She refused. Her quiet act of resistance wasn't just about a bus seat. It was a stand against the injustice she had faced all her life. That single decision sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement, proving that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it speaks in a whisper that the world can't ignore. Solitude matters, Cain asserts, and for some people, it is the air they breathe. In this sanctuary of your soul, what sacred sparks ignite? Allow the stillness to embrace you, revealing that true power blooms not in noise, but in the holy quiet. Challenge yourself. Carve out 1 hour of pure solitude this week. What emerges from the silence? Yet what of leaders who whisper rather than roar? Insight 4. The Whispering Leader. Behold the ancient oak, standing tall not by outshouting the wind, but by rooting deep. Introverted leaders as these oaks, guiding with quiet strength amid tempests. Eleanor Roosevelt wasn't born a leader. As a shy, awkward orphan, she might have seemed an unlikely candidate to change history. But she possessed a rare gift, the ability to turn quiet observation into profound action. While other leaders shouted, Eleanor listened. While politicians sought the spotlight, she worked behind the scenes. Her power came not from fiery speeches, but from thoughtful conversations. Not from force, but from fierce compassion. This once timid woman became America's most influential First Lady and a global human rights champion precisely because of her quiet strength. She transformed her introversion into a superpower, using deep empathy to connect with people from coal miners to world leaders. Eleanor proved leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. The most lasting change often comes from those who listen first, think deeply, and then act with quiet determination. Her legacy shows us that true strength can come from vulnerability, and that the most powerful movements sometimes begin with a simple act of understanding. Cain notes, introverted leaders often deliver better outcomes than extroverts do, because they're more likely to let talented employees run with their ideas. Root yourself now, dear seeker. Your quiet voice isn't a whisper lost. It's the oak's enduring call, inviting collaboration in the soul's deepest groves. Reflect. In your next group dynamic, lead with listening. What hidden talents flourish? But creativity, does it hide in the quiet corners? Insight 5. The Well of Creativity. Picture a bottomless well in a forgotten glade where introverts dip into depths unseen, drawing forth innovations that quench the world's thirst. Steve Wozniak wasn't chasing fame when he invented the personal computer, he was just following his curiosity. While others sought the spotlight, Woz was happiest alone in his garage, solving engineering puzzles purely for the joy of it. Night after night, this shy engineer quietly pieced together revolutionary technology that would change how the world works. His Apple I computer wasn't created for glory or money. It was built because he believed such a machine should exist. Wozniak proved you don't need charisma to change history. While showmen took the center stage, this introverted inventor's quiet work in the shadows made our digital age possible. His story reminds us that world-changing ideas often come from those more focused on solving problems than seeking applause. The more freedom we give introverts to be themselves, Cain writes, the more likely they are to come up with their own unique solutions to problems. Dive into your own well. Feel the cool waters of creativity rising, a spiritual elixir born of introspection, reminding you that genius whispers before it roars. Ponder. Set aside time to well dive alone. What idea surfaces? Wait, can traits truly be free? Insight 6. The free trait dance. Like a dancer weaving between shadows and light, the free trait theory lets introverts step into extroverted roles, then retreat to recharge, a sacred rhythm of self. Meet Dr. Sarah Bennett, the kind of professor students never forget. In the lecture hall, she's electrifying, transforming complex ideas into captivating stories that leave her class hanging on every word. But when the bell rings, something strange happens. She vanishes. While colleagues linger in the halls chatting, Dr. Bennett retreats to her quiet office, surrounded by books. This isn't rudeness. It's her secret superpower. She's mastered what psychologists call the free trait theory, temporarily stepping out of her introverted nature to perform when it matters most. Her magic formula? Morning lectures, fueled by careful preparation. Afternoons, recharging in solitude, strict boundaries protecting her energy. Dr. Bennett's story shows we don't have to be on all the time to excel. By strategically using her free traits, then honoring her true nature, she delivers brilliance without burnout. Proving success isn't about changing who you are, but working with your natural strengths. Cain explains, we can stretch our personalities, but only up to a point. Like rubber bands, we snap back. Dance this rhythm in your spirit. Honor the stretch, but cherish the return. It's the soul's way of balancing worlds, finding harmony in authenticity. Identify a free trait moment this week. Stretch, then recharge. What shifts? But what of the children, those budding souls? Insight 7. The seedling's quiet growth. Envision tender seedlings in a noisy greenhouse, thriving only when shielded. Introverted children as these, needing quiet soil to root deeply. Alex wasn't like the other kids. While classmates thrived in noisy group activities, he felt most alive in quiet moments with his computer. Teachers called him too shy, but his parents saw something different, a deep thinker in the making. Instead of pushing him into awkward playdates, they did something radical. They created a sanctuary at home, a space where curiosity could grow without pressure. Learning happened at his rhythm. Passion replaced performance. In this nurturing environment, Alex's talent exploded. That quiet boy became a remarkable coder, solving problems others overlooked. His story shows that brilliance isn't always loud. Sometimes it grows best in stillness when we honor how young minds truly work. Don't think of introversion as something that needs to be cured, Cain urges. Nurture your inner seedling. In its quiet growth lies the forest's future. Feel the gentle unfolding, a spiritual promise of potential unbound. If you know a quiet child, observe. How can you foster their soil? Love, too, has its quiet rhythms. Insight 8. The harmony of hearts. Like two rivers merging, one turbulent, one serene. Introverts in relationships create a harmonious flow, their depth enriching the shared current. Sarah loved quiet evenings, curled up with a book, savoring the stillness. Her partner, Jamie, thrived on adventures, spontaneous trips, buzzing parties, and non-stop chatter. At first, their differences felt impossible, but then they discovered a secret. Love isn't about changing each other, it's about creating space for both worlds to exist. Their compromise. Weekends brought Jamie's energy, hiking, hosting friends, exploring new places. Weeknights became Sarah's sanctuary, shared silence, deep talks, cozy rituals. Slowly, their contrasts stopped being obstacles and became gifts. Jamie learned the joy of quiet presence. Sarah discovered the thrill of stepping outside her comfort zone when she chose to. Their story proves that the best relationships aren't about being the same. They're about building bridges between two hearts exactly as they are. Cain observes, opposites attract, and then they attack. But with awareness, they can thrive. Let your heart's river flow. In quiet union, discover a spiritual bond that transcends words, where souls meet in sacred silence. Reflect on a relationship. Where can quiet harmony deepen it? Science calls now Temperament's ancient code.
Insight 9, the Temperament Tapestry. Woven like a cosmic tapestry, Temperament threads introversion into our biology, a divine design, not a flaw. Two sisters, separated at birth, grew up in completely different worlds. Emma was raised in a bustling city apartment, sirens wailing, neighbors chatting through thin walls, a family that filled every silence with noise. Lily grew up in a rural cottage, wind in the trees, the occasional cow lowing, guardians who spoke softly and sparingly. Yet when they finally met as adults, they discovered an invisible thread. Both were introverts. Emma survived her loud childhood by hiding in library corners. Lily thrived in her quiet world, tending solitary gardens. Their reunion revealed a profound truth. Some souls are born with quiet inside them. No amount of noise can drown it out, just as no amount of solitude can create what wasn't there to begin with. The twist: environment shapes how we live with our nature, but not the nature itself. These twins proved that introversion wasn't taught, it was in their bones all along. Introversion, along with its cousins sensitivity, seriousness, and shyness, is now a second-class personality trait. Cain laments, somewhere between a disappointment and a pathology. Trace your tapestry. Feel the threads of your being, woven by a greater mystery. Embrace them as gifts from the soul's loom. Journal. What biological threads define your quiet power? Finally, the embrace. But is it the end or a beginning?
Insight 10. The embrace of self. As the phoenix rises from ashes, embracing introversion ignites a rebirth, transforming perceived weakness into radiant superpower. Susan Cain spent years pretending to be someone she wasn't. In boardrooms and classrooms, she forced herself to speak up, lean in, and act like an extrovert, until she realized the truth. Her quiet nature wasn't a weakness, it was a superpower. Instead of hiding, she wrote Quiet, a book defending introverts in a world that worships loudness. Overnight, it became a rallying cry. Millions who'd felt too shy, too sensitive, or too quiet suddenly had permission to be themselves. The revolution? Former wallflowers embraced their thoughtful nature. Schools and workplaces rethought participation metrics. The myth that only loud voices matter began to crumble. Cain's journey proves something radical. Accepting yourself as you are doesn't just change your life, it can change the world. Because when one person stops pretending, it gives others permission to do the same. The secret to life is to put yourself in the right lighting, Cain concludes. For some, it's a Broadway spotlight. For others, a lamplit desk. Rise now, Phoenix of the Quiet. Feel the warmth of self-embrace, a spiritual fire that illuminates your path, revealing the superpower within. Today, claim one quiet strength. What proof of power do you see?
We return now to that storm-swept world where the introvert once stood shadowed, but look how the light has shifted. The The mirror cracks wide, the garden blooms eternal, the sanctuary stands open. Through these insights, we've journeyed from struggle to sovereignty, uncovering that your quiet is no mere trait, it's a hidden superpower, a spiritual force weaving sensitivity, creativity, and leadership into the fabric of existence. What has changed? The roar softens, clarity dawns. What remains? The eternal hush, inviting you deeper. One final whisper from Cain: spend your free time the way you like, not the way you think you're supposed to. Let it echo in your soul, a sacred permission to live authentically. Now, dear seeker, the challenge. In the quiet of this moment, ask yourself, what one insight will you carry into tomorrow? How will you unleash your hidden superpower? May this leave you with peace, like the gentle closing of a sacred text, clarity in the mystery, strength in the silence. If this stirred your spirit, click on the screen now to explore insights from Breath by James Nestor. Discover how something as simple as breathing holds secrets to transformation that will leave you breathless with wonder. And if these words resonated, like this video, comment below with your quiet superpower, and subscribe to Bookru Visuals for more journeys into the soul's depths. Until next time, be still and know.